It's a blessed journey, and it's an opportunity of a lifetime that you have, and you will be in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, I've done many Hajj, alhamdulillah, by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. My first Hajj was when I was very little, maybe 4 or 5 years old. After that, I've been doing a few Hajj as a group leader. How many of you have been to Hajj before, at least once? MashaAllah. One? Any from our sisters? Okay. So I know we have an hour and a half for the most, and normally these classes take a few hours, so we'll try to squeeze in as much as we can, and hopefully that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala benefits all of you and myself. I will use a presentation just to keep things flowing. Most of the things that I will speak, inshallah, through experience, through the things that I've experienced in my own Hajj and being a group leader, and with many other, inshallah, references that we'll bring. So this, it's a presentation that it's online. I'm just going to use it for the course. MashaAllah, it's a very comprehensive. It has hundreds of slides. I'll just go through a few of them. So I know some of you might be going to Mecca first, and some might be going to Medina first. But inshallah, we will start first with Umrah, because that's the short version of Hajj. You will get to learn a lot just within that journey. So, and that will be even if you're going to Medina first, for your Hajj trip and for the Hajj activities, Umrah is going to be the first part of your Hajj. So we'll start with that, and then inshallah we'll go through Hajj step by step, and then inshallah after that we will talk a little bit about your visit to Medina. So whether you're going to Medina first or after, regardless of your timing, inshallah, we'll try to address these three parts of this, inshallah, session. So, Umrah, first of all, when you are traveling, before there are certain things that you want to take care of. Number one is to seek the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number two is to seek forgiveness from those that are closest to you, your family members, and then your relatives, and then your neighbors, your friends, those people that you interact on a regular basis. There's always some ups and downs in life. So we want to seek their forgiveness and forgive them for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's where you want to start your journey. And until you don't actually start your travel, your trip from Boston or from New York, wherever you're traveling from, just continue making dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, two things. I will repeat this again and again throughout this workshop. Two things that you always want to make dua. Number one, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala acceptance. Dua for acceptance. That, oh Allah, accept everything that I will do in this journey. Oh Allah, accept my travel, accept my coming to Medina, going to Mecca, doing all the good deeds. And accept from all the Hajjaj. Because if everybody's accepted, then I will be accepted as well. And number two is to make dua that Allah makes it easy. So you could say in Arabic, Allahumma yassir wali taqabbalhu minni. Or you could say, yassir hali wa taqabbalha minni. Oh Allah, make this Umrah, this Hajj, this Tawaf, this 2 raka'ah, this Ihram, my intention, my getting on a bus, getting on a plane, talking to someone, going to buy something. Allah, accept and make it easy. Very simple. This is the shortest dua that you can do throughout your trip. So if it's accepted, you got all the blessings. You are covered fully. And sometimes it's accepted, but it's difficult. So you also, if it's easy, then you got the best of the two worlds. It's accepted, and it's also Allah made it easy. One other lesson that you want to keep in your, on the top of your list is that your whole trip, you are the guest of Allah. You are going to Mecca and Medina you are the guest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And any time, any difficulty, any situation, just think about that I'm the guest of Allah. Allah is my host. My Lord is my host, is hosting me. And Allah will take care of all of my affairs. If you keep that in mind, inshallah, you will never have any stress. Even the most difficult times, you'll say, I'm the guest of Allah. The host will never put me in any difficulty. And if he put me in a situation, it must be something good behind it. There's a good outcome of it. And inshallah, there's khair in it. So with these few things, inshallah, keep in mind throughout your trip. So before you start your trip, I'm sure you are traveling from Boston, most of you. Anybody traveling from New York? From New York? Okay. From New York, there's a possibility, even from Boston, there's a possibility that you will fly straight into Jeddah or straight into Medina. I don't know if Medina is a route from Boston. But from JFK, there are flights. So if you're going straight to Medina, still you're not going to be in the state of Ihram. Only if you are going from here straight to Jeddah with the intention that you're going to Masjid al-Haram, you're going to perform your Umrah. Then you will do all the prerequisites before Ihram, and I will mention that in a little bit. But normally, there's a stop either in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Turkey, or other places. So if you keep making that stop, from there on to Jeddah, you will do the preparation there. So if you are going straight to Jeddah, it's best to do all the prerequisites before you leave your home. And what are those prerequisites? Is to take a shower, trim the hair, clip your nails, just like you get ready for Jum'ah Salah. Take a proper shower and do all the necessary things that you need to do, and then put on your regular clothing. Whether you're traveling from here straight to Jeddah or you're taking a flight from any other transit to Jeddah, normally people put on the ihram a few hours before landing in Jeddah. Okay. If you are traveling from Medina, then that's by road, and I will come to that later on. You will do the same at your hotel, and then you will stop at a Masjid al-Miqat, and you will do the ihram over there. But the place where you're leaving, and you're not going to stop in between, and you're going straight to Jeddah, you want to do all the preparation before you start your journey. So taking a shower and all that. In the plane, before landing in Jeddah, approximately 50 minutes before landing in Jeddah, or an hour or so, they will announce. Sometimes they announce 2 hours before that the miqat is coming up in an hour. So normally the miqat comes in, half hour, 45 minutes before landing. So you want to have your ihram, everything on before the miqat, and I will talk about that. But normally it's best to do that a few hours before, because what happens normally in Hajj season, most of the passengers going to Jeddah, they will be the Hajis, just like yourself. Everyone, for the men, everyone will be rushing to the bathroom, rushing to if it's Saudi Airlines, there's a masjid inside the plane, there's a 6-seat area to pray, you can stand and pray. Normally people put on their ihram in that area. So at that time, there's going to be a lot of rush. So you want to put on your ihram a few hours before, 3-4 hours before. People are sleeping or eating, whatever. At that time is the best time to go and change if you need to change. And put on your ihram and pray your 2 rakats if you have a chance. Otherwise, you pray your 2 rakats on your seat and you say the talbiyah. So, in a nutshell, what is the 4 things to do in Umrah? There's just 4 things. 4 important things. If you do these 4 things, your Umrah is accepted, your Umrah is okay, your Umrah is good. Number 1 is Ihram and Talbiyah. Ihram, there is the clothing that for men, right? Special 2 pieces of cloth that you put on the ihram. That's called the cloth or the clothing or the thobe of ihram. It's the cloth of ihram. The ihram is that you make a few things that Allah made it halal for you, you make it haram. Okay? So the ihram. But here, mostly it means to change, to put on the ihram, the clothing, and do all the prerequisites before putting on the clothing. For the women, you will wear your regular clothing. You wear your regular clothing, you wear abaya on top, scarf, everything. The only thing is that you cannot cover is the face. You cannot cover something on the face. So even if you're sleeping, it shouldn't be covering your face. If it covers for a few minutes, it's fine. For 10 minutes, an hour, it's fine. If you cover the whole entire night, that's an issue. We'll talk about it later. So ihram is to for the women is to cover the entire body except the hands and the face. For the men is to cover the head. Uncover the head, uncover the face, hands and feet. Okay. The rest of the body, you'll have two pieces of cloth. The bottom is called izar, and the top one is called the rida. So you have two pieces of cloth. So that coupled with talbiyah. So ihram is that you intend that I want to perform umrah, or you intend that I want to perform hajj. With either of these two intentions, you putting on your ihram and you're abstaining from the things that are permissible and they are not permissible doing ihram. That intention is included in your ihram. So that's niyyah. Without that intention, if someone just has two pieces of cloth on and he says, I'm going to hajj, it doesn't count. If he's already in Makkah, it won't count. So a person has to have the intention as well. So that will be included in the first part, ihram. The second part of the first is talbiyah. What is talbiyah? Saying labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, innal hamda wa ni'mata laka wal mulk la sharika laka. You could make it very short and you could say labbaik Allahumma umratan if you are doing ihram for your umrah. When you are putting on your ihram for your hajj, labbaik Allahumma hajjatan. Just that much is also sufficient. But it's good to say the whole thing, labbaik Allahumma labbaik, all the way to the end. If you don't know this, try to memorize it before leaving. It's very short, labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, innal hamda wa ni'mata laka wal mulk la sharika lak. 4 parts to it, right? Try to memorize it. If you still didn't memorize it until you got there, you will eventually know it because you'll be saying it so many times. And it's good to say it as much as you can after you have put on your ihram and you started your with your talbiyah and intention. So that's the first rukun. Without that, your umrah is no, it doesn't count. Without ihram and talbiyah, your umrah will not count, or your hajj will not count. So you have to have, that's number 1. Number 2 is tawaf, going around the Kaaba 7 times. So that's these 2 are the rukun of umrah. If you miss out on either one of them, no umrah. Okay? The other 2 are the wajibat. Okay? Number 1 is sa'i between Safa and Marwa. Safa and Marwa. So Safa and Marwa 1, Marwa to Safa 2, Safa to Marwa 3, Marwa to Safa 4. That's how it goes. Someone made a mistake and did just like Tawaf. He went from Safa to Marwa, Marwa to Safa 1. And then he did 2 back and forth, 3 back and forth. He did 7. So altogether he did 14. So don't make that mistake. If you're with a group, mashallah, you won't, but sometimes you separate from the group. And that's what happened to that folk. He and his wife, they got lost from us and they did, mashallah, 14 sa'i.
Do we have to
Yeah, you have to have wudu in tawaf. For sa'i is recommended, not necessary. We'll come to those small little things, inshallah. I'm just trying to focus on these four. Number four, the fourth part of Umrah is to shave or to trim. Halq or qasr. Halq, it means to shave, and qasr, it means to trim. How much to trim? 1/3 of the index finger is good enough. So let's say 1 inch. Okay, 1 inch, you're good. But from all sides. According to the Hanafiya, it has to be most of the head, if not the whole. And according to the Shafi'iyya, even a little bit is fine. Okay? So, four things that will conclude your tawaf, your umrah. Number one is talbiyah ihram, with ihram. Talbiyah with ihram, saying labbaik Allahumma with your intention. And number two is tawaf. Number three, sa'i. And number four, halq or qasr, shaving or trimming of the hair. For the women, again, just you don't shave, you don't cut all the hair. You will only trim only 1 inch or 1/3 of the index finger. And that would apply for every time you come out of ihram. So the fourth one, it's an action that it's not part of the umrah, but it's part of the umrah in the sense that it brings you out of the state of ihram. Okay, it's not a ritual of the umrah. The umrah is tawaf and sa'i, right? But intention comes in the beginning to start with, because it will not be just like before starting the prayer, you have to have intention. It's not part of the prayer, but it's the prerequisite for the prayer. And now to exit from the ihram of umrah, because you're in a state of ihram, is to shave the head. So that's how it becomes 4 parts of the umrah. So this part is clear to everyone? Any questions regarding these 4 things? Okay. Let's see what else we have.
When we do the hair cutting, can we do ourselves or
you can do it yourself. You can do it yourself if you can. Otherwise, you can ask someone else. Even someone in a state of ihram can do another person who is in a state of ihram. That's fine. Where you get the garments, you can buy your own, unless if your group said that they will provide it for you. So Darul Salam does provide, some others as well as other organizations. I think even Adam Travel also provides ihram. So you have to find out from them. If they promise that they will give them, or Amazon, 2-day shipping, Prime. Okay. Let's look at the ihram, tawaf, sa'i, and halaq or qasr. So let's look at the ihram. So as I mentioned, that when you're traveling to Jeddah, whether you're coming by air, flying into Jeddah, or you're traveling by road from Medina, or even flying from Medina, there is boundaries where you cannot pass with the intention of entering Mecca. With the intention of entering Mecca without the state of ihram. You cannot pass these miqat. So these are called mawaqit. Miqat is the singular. So if you look at the first one on the top, north, that's Medina, right? So right outside of Medina, there is a place called Abyar Ali. There's a masjid, it's called Masjid al-Miqat. And that's where the miqat for the people who are coming from Medina. So it's a long trip all the way down. And if you look at the yellow with the red outline, that's the Haram of Mecca. That's the Haram of Mecca. And that little green dot is Masjid al-Haram. So Masjid al-Haram, it's the masjid where you pray, right? But the city of Mecca has its own haram that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it sacred from the beginning of times, especially for Ibrahim alayhi salam. As the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that you have made the haram of Mecca the haram of Ibrahim alayhi salam, so also provide me the haram of Medina. So there's also haram of Medina. So the Medina also has its boundaries which the significance of that are less than the significance of the Haram of Mecca, because it has a higher restriction order for Mecca. So that red boundary is the Haram of Mecca. Outside of that, that big circle that looks like an egg, so all the way to the top is the miqat from Medina, and when you're coming to Jeddah is the one on the left, right? So that's the miqat for entering from, it's called the Yalamlam miqat. People coming from Yemen, people coming from South Asia, all those countries, they enter from that. And normally by air you enter from that miqat. So that's close, one of the closest ones to Mecca. Otherwise, the miqat of Ta'if is also very close, it's not too far. So they're almost the same. I think the miqat of Ta'if is the closest one, because I did the ihram from there as well. There's Dhul Hulayfa, which is towards the right, which is quite close actually. Anyway, so the miqat, if someone is on the A where it says A, if someone is in that area and wants to enter the haram, that red line, with the intention of Umrah or Hajj, he has to be in a state of ihram. Okay? So since you are coming there for Hajj, or at least for Umrah, you cannot pass without ihram. And therefore, you'll have to have your ihram done before passing the miqat. And again, if you're traveling to Jeddah by air, it will come on 45 minutes before landing. And if you are leaving from Medina, it's right outside of Medina. So the whole trip you will be in a state of ihram. So that's the miqat. Okay, we already mentioned all that. I'm gonna just quickly go over. For men, what do you do before preparing, when you're getting ready to put on the ihram clothing, right? To clip your nails, hair, pubic hair, take a shower, also just like you do for Jum'ah, Salah, put perfume on. And now, once you enter the state of ihram, for men and women both, perfume is the most important thing to be aware of, because this is the only thing that you would do, and immediately you will have to pay a penalty. If you put on a itar on perfume, even for a minute, or you touch something that has perfume, right? Even for a minute, you'll have to pay a dam. You have to pay a penalty for that. Now the penalty varies. Sometimes it's a lamb or a goat, right? Or it's the equivalent of sadaqat al-fitr, $10, right? That's the penalty. So it depends on the severity of it. For example, if someone sprayed or used soap or shampoo that has perfume in it, or sunblock, those kind of things that usually are scented, then sadaqah will be, the most case will be a sadaqah. But if you use perfume directly, something that is a itar or perfume, cologne, any of those things, then immediately you have to pay a penalty of a lamb or a goat. You had a hand up. Yes. So, yeah, I was coming to that part. So once you entered in the state of ihram, then any scented thing or perfume, it will be impermissible. Anything before ihram is actually recommended. So when you take a shower, you can use anything that you want to use. After changing, you can put on any perfume that you want. You can put as much as you want. And even if it remains during your ihram, even for a day or two, it's okay. It is okay with that. It is actually sunnah, is recommended that the Prophet ﷺ would put on perfume for his ihram. And always remember, every special action in Hajj is one of the symbols of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sha'air Allah. وَمَنْ يُعَظِّمْ شَعَائِرَ اللَّهِ فَإِنَّهَا مِنْ تَقْوَى الْقُلُوبِ. If you acknowledge the greatness of this action by taking it serious and putting a lot of effort into it, then you are raising the bar and raising the symbols of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because these are symbolic things. Putting on an ihram for what? Why, you don't have any clothing? Putting for the sake of Allah. Allah wants me to be like this. It's one of the sha'air of Allah. Going to Muzdalifah, picking up the pebbles, washing them off, taking care of it, right? The sheep or the lamb, if you are going to the place where you slaughter the animal, do it with love, do it with a lot of devotion, and anything that you do. You're doing rami, you are doing tawaf. These are all sha'air of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The places where you're going to visit, to acknowledge the greatness of these places, to be in awe of these great ni'mas of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So anyway, so perfume, put a lot of perfume on before ihram. But once you are in a state of ihram, it's dislike to, if you smell something bad, then you say, where did I put the perfume on? You shouldn't do that. It's dislike. Okay? So to deliberately smell perfume, it's disliked. But if you just smell it because you have it on, there's no problem with that. I usually keep a very special oud that I have only for ihram. I've been using it for many, many years. So I only use it when I go for Umrah or Hajj. And I use it only for putting on ihram. So anyway, so I can smell that sometimes even the third day, second day, even coming back from Muzdalifah. Anyway, so you do all of your, before putting on ihram, all of these things, and then what are the things that you cannot wear for men is you cannot wear anything that is usually worn as clothing for men. Okay, so it'll be a shirt, an undergarment, a pants, a qamis, a jubba, anything of that sort, right? So anything that doesn't resemble regular clothing, it's allowed to put them on, right? So a belt will be fine, right? A backpack will be fine, it's not clothing. Yes, a hat will be considered as clothing, so you cannot wear a hat. Plus, you cannot cover your head, so obviously you cannot wear a hat. So these are a few things that the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that a muhrim, a person who is in a state of ihram, cannot wear. When it comes to shoes, any shoes that does not cover the top part of your feet is permissible. Okay, so whether it's flip-flops, a sandal that it is open from the top, right? It just has one strap on the top part, and one on the lower part. That will be permissible. It's just that the bone that is up on your feet, right? You feel this bone on the top, the bone that is, you can feel it, right? Is up a little bit. I forget what they call it. This bone cannot be covered. So that will cover the bone partially. So it will be it's best not to. If you didn't have that middle one, right? That middle one that is going crossway. If you didn't have that, then it'll be fine. Then it's perfect. Because that bone is not covering.
Okay, we are talking about this one.
Yeah.
So basically this is the problem.
Yeah, it's covering part of it, so can you take that off?
No,
Actually, for it's usually, these are the best kind of shoes to wear. The reason is that
which one?
you will never lose these shoes. It won't come off. Because a lot of times when you're sweating, it gets wet. And then when you have to walk fast, it may fall off. So instead of losing your shoes or falling off, and you cannot go back way, sometimes the traffic is just, you have to keep going. You lose your shoes. No, that will not be, because that's covering. Anyway, so the best thing, you go to Walmart or any store, is get those cheap ones, $2, $5. Yeah, flip-flops.
B type,
Yeah.
which one fit here? Like
Yeah,
one-
those are the best.
That's good.
That's best. But make sure that you wear it before traveling to make sure that it's comfortable because you'll be doing a lot of walking, a lot of walking. If you haven't started walking, exercising, start now. Still have a few more days if you have a few more days because you will have to do a lot of walking, especially if you are doing more tawaf. Tawaf is one of the greatest things that you will do and one of the things that you will do the most. So try to do a lot of walking, exercise, before you even leave. So you are fit and you're not, the first day you don't just drop. So anyway, so
Every tawaf,
having a proper shoes and comfortable shoes, it's a great ni'mah during your whole trip. Please take note of that. Once I took shoes and I didn't try it out, I suffered. Eventually someone saw me like limping in it. I said, what's happening? I said, my shoes. He said, oh, I have a good pair. He gave me these beautiful leather, nice shoes. And he said, thank you. So I made so much dua for him. Okay, so here you go. The two rak'ahs before your talbiyah and ihram. It is sunnah, it's not wajib. Again, in your umrah, there's only 4 things you have to do that is wajib. Other than that, there's nothing that is wajib except the 2 rak'ahs that you will do that is not part of your umrah, it's part of your tawaf. It's part of tawaf. The 2 rak'ahs that you do after every completion of a tawaf. So once you do 7 times, whether it's your umrah, whether it's a regular tawaf, whether it's your hajj tawaf, any tawaf that you do, always remember the 2 rak'ahs after any tawaf is wajib, right? It's not part of the umrah, it's part of the tawaf. Okay? So there's only 4 things that you have to do in your umrah. Other than that is not wajib. Okay? It's either sunnah or mustahab. Okay? So if you miss on something, inshallah, your umrah will be fine. So the 2 rak'ahs is recommended, is sunnah to pray. And when you pray the 2 rak'ahs, and any 2 rak'ahs that you pray in your entire trip, you will pray 2 rak'ahs in the maqam, you pray 2 rak'ahs after, for your ihram, for your hajj, in any place, 2 rak'ahs. You pray, say, Qul ya al-kafirun, Qul Allahu ahad. That's the best surahs to recite. You can recite any other surah that you wish, but these two surahs are recommended. Right? They are short, simple. Qul ya al-kafirun, Qul Allahu ahad. Okay. So for women, right? Almost the same, right? You just put on normal clothing. Okay? You have to uncover the face and the hands. Okay, we already mentioned that. That's the hadith. Okay, let's see what's come. Okay. 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 We already did this. طيب. We already mentioned the talbiyah, labbaik Allahumma umratan, or you could say the whole thing with the intention saying, Allahumma inni uridu al-umrata fayassiru li wa taqabbalu minni, and then you say labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Or you could just merge both and say labbaik Allahumma umratan. You should try to do this on your own. You don't want to wait for the imam to get everybody in the bus, everybody together, and then say a talbiyah together. You can do it on your own. Your imam, your leader, might do it as a group. It's fine, okay? But it's not necessary to do it as a group, okay? So once you say that, you are in a state of ihram, many things become impermissible.
So we have to say, recite the talbiyah loudly
Yeah,
or just
out loud. Yeah,
loudly?
out loud, right? And for the sisters, you don't have to say it out loud. You can, but it's recommended to say it in a low voice, okay? In the bus, everybody, or in the plane, or elsewhere, everybody's going to be saying it out loud. You can join if you want to, and you can say it. There's no harm. But you shouldn't wait. Always remember, once you're in a state of ihram, if you are going for umrah, talbiyah is the best dhikr. Because what are you saying? Labbaik. Oh Allah, I'm there for you. I'm present. I'm coming. Right? always you are saying to Allah, always you're reminding yourself that you are the guest of Allah. You are answering the call of our forefather Ibrahim alayhi salam. You are answering the call of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He invited me to his house and I'm saying labbaik, I'm there. So that's the greatest dhikr to do. You don't have to say it every minute, but try to say it as much as you can. Especially when you're landing, when you're getting off, when you're meeting someone. When you meet someone, say labbaik Allahumma labbaik. It's a fagwan. Right? You're entering a place, you're exiting a place, you're going up, you're going down, getting off the bus. You know, try to say it as much as you can. Talbiyah. Okay? So these are the places where you do the talbiyah. Okay. What is the virtue of saying the talbiyah? The Prophet ﷺ said that Jibreel came to me and he ordered my companions to recite the talbiyah out loud. أن يرفعوا أصواتهم بالإهلال. And there's a hadith that the Prophet ﷺ said that when you say talbiyah, labbaik Allahumma labbaik, everything around you, even the trees, the stones, the walls, the place, the buildings, the people, will witness your talbiyah and will answer your talbiyah, right? So you are making all these things a witness all around you, right? Okay, let's move forward with ihram. Okay, we already did this. It's a repetition. Anybody doing Hajj badal? Badal means that you're doing on behalf of someone else. No one? Okay. So we will quickly pass this part. Mahdurat al-ihram, the things that are not permissible, the prohibitions of ihram. So clothing for men, of course, right? And for men, for women, again, not to cover the face and the hands. That's it. There's no. If you want to cover, normally they don't, but you will see women sometimes covering, and what they will do a baseball hat, and they'll have something covering their face, because they take the very strict opinion. No, glasses is fine, watch is okay, ring is fine, bracelets, anything that you wear normally is okay to wear. Anything, again, that falls into the category of clothing that will be not permissible for men. Okay, not permissible for men. For women, everything is allowed. You can wear socks. You wear socks all the time, that's fine. Okay, what else we have? Fragrance, we already mentioned that. Perfume, anything that is perfume, anything in clothing. In food, anything that is food, what do you call it? Flavor, food flavor, it is okay. So anything that is fruit flavor or fruit, any kind of fruit is okay. It has some fragrance in it, like oranges, they smell good, but it's okay. It's not atar, it's not perfume, okay? So they're all okay. Okay, and what else do we have?
What about brushing?
Brushing teeth is fine. The only thing, miswak is best. You can use a toothbrush and toothpaste. But other than that, because that's a matter of hygiene, so you should brush. Other than that, you should not remove dirt from your body. You know, the best Hajj is when you're raggy and dirty and dust all over you. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves. So it's the opposite of how you will come for Jummah. Okay? Initially you will be very good, but once you go in Hajj, when you go to Arafat, and from there you go to Muzdalifah, there's a lot of things happening and it gets dirty, your ihram gets dirty, your body gets dirty. So that's okay. You can take a shower for coolness, but you shouldn't take a shower to clean yourself. Keep yourself the way how you are. And you purposely will not also put mud all over yourself, right? But whatever comes out, without unintentionally, that's okay.
So that means you can brush it with a regular toothpaste?
Yes.
Okay.
It's best to avoid, it's best to use miswak.
Okay.
Miswak is a very healthy, beneficial thing to use, and it's best to avoid toothpaste. It has a sort of scent in it. For other than that, for soap, even sunblock or sunscreen, you can get unscented. And normally in those places they have unscented soap and bath gel, etc. If you have to use it, you can use it, right? Like after food, you want to wash your hands with soap, so there's unscented soap, so you should use that. Sunscreen as well. Normally sunscreen has scent in them, so you have to be careful. And you can easily find unscented sunscreen because you might need that in your trip. A lot of people do use it. I usually take an unscented sunscreen. It comes very handy, especially in Arafat. Sometimes you're outside, you're in the sun for some time, so you want to have sunscreen on you. Sexual intercourse is not permissible throughout the ihram period. So starting your ihram from Umrah until you shave your head, there is no physical or even verbal. You cannot even mention or talk about it. Same thing will apply to marriage. You cannot marry someone or talk about marriage. So anything related to physical relationship, that should be avoided at all times. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that in Surah Al-Baqarah. فَمَنْ فَرَضَ فِيهِنَّ الْحَجَّ فَلَا رَفَث. Right? لَا رَفَث. So rafath, it means sexual relationship. Right? So cleaning yourself, it's something that is recommended not to do. You should avoid. But if you really need to, then again, just like I mentioned, that you could use unscented soap. Can you hear me? Okay, I think that. Okay. Lice you should not kill. There are certain things that you should not kill during the state of ihram, right? Especially anything that is considered as hunting. You should not kill any of those animals. But some kind of insects, snakes, scorpion, those kind of things, if you see one, they're harmful, even ants or something like that, it is okay to kill them, that's fine. Wedding, we already spoke about that. Hunting, you cannot hunt, you cannot indicate. Nobody does that anyway. Hunting, you cannot, in the state of ihram. Okay. If any of these things happen, there's no fidya in the sexual intercourse or wedding, etc. For perfume, there's fidya. There's perfume. There's fidya for wearing clothing for a day. Okay, covering your face or regular clothing for a day. Okay. It's a little early to mention this, but a camel or a cow, that penalty only applies in two conditions. Number one, someone makes tawaf around the Kaaba in the state of janaba, in the state of great ritual impurity, right? In the state of janaba, in the state that you have to make ghusl. So if you make tawaf, and the only tawaf is the tawaf of ziyarah. If you do tawaf of ziyarah in a state of the greater impurity state, then there's the cow or the camel. And the second, if you have sexual intercourse after Arafah, after staying in Arafah, between Arafah and coming out of the state of the bigger ihram, it's called al-ihram al-akbar, or tawaf al-ziyarah. So tawaf al-ziyarah is also called tawaf al-ifada, or tawaf al-rukn. Okay, there are many names. So that's the rukn, that's the main part of Hajj. So in between this time, if someone has any contact, then this penalty would apply. So only in two places, and it's very unusual, very unusual. The second fidya or the penalty is a lamb or goat, right? That applies if you put perfume on, if you wear something for a whole day, regular clothing for a whole day, you cover your head for the whole day, you miss a wajib in Hajj, or you miss a wajib in Umrah, you forgot to do sa'i. And went and shaved. Actually, someone did that in one trip. They just did tawaf, went straight, trimmed his hair, and went to sleep. Woke up and said, did you do sa'i? No, I forgot. So, what do? Qurbani. You can go anywhere. There's a place under the clock tower in that building on the first floor, all the way to the end. There's a booth where you can go and pay your penalty, whether it's the big one or the regular one. And then the third level is Sadaqat al-Fitr, the amount of Sadaqat al-Fitr, which is $10. So for example, you trimmed or you clipped just one finger. You pulled or just a few hair, one or two. You're scratching and you pulled 3 or 4 hairs. If it's just one hair, then a riyal or 2 suffices, and that's the 4th level of the penalty. So that's small penalties. I will always advise, and I usually advise the Hajjaj, before coming back, just to be on the safe side, just give 400 or 500 riyals as sadaqah with the intention of fidya. That if I did any mistake, if I did something wrong, I'm giving this. So you can go and give it to any of those places where they take the penalty money. You can ask anyone. It's on the clock tower all the way to the back.
Again, what did you say now about the fidya? You didn't do anything.
For
You just said something. Can you repeat that?
for the fidya, whether it's the normal one or the smaller one, the 3rd or the 4th category, meaning sadaqat al-fitr, or normally in the books of fiqh is mentioned as qabdah, meaning the handful of barley, that or the equivalent value of it. So that's 1 riyal or 2 riyals.
You mentioned you pay fidya.
In advance.
Fidya was a little something, no?
Yeah, in the end, before you leave,
How much will you pay?
I usually recommend 400 to 500 riyals, which is about $100 some dollars.
Attention, if something,
Yeah, if I did something wrong, if I made a mistake, I'm giving it for the sake of Allah. I did. Okay, so that's the second category, a sheep or goat fidya. Sometimes it gets very complicated, so I'm not going to go into a lot of details of that. If you do any mistake, it's best to just ask your local scholar who's with you, or you can contact your group leader and they will refer to a scholar, inshallah. Okay, so all of that. Permissible things of ihram, there's no harm in using an umbrella, you can use an umbrella. Okay? There's a very funny umbrella that they came out with a few years ago. It's like a circle, right? And it has like an umbrella on top. So it's not covering your head, it's a little bit above your head. And it's just covering your head. You can use that. But a regular umbrella is a good thing to have. It depends on your group and your package. Sometimes you don't see the sun at all. From Mina, normally you're in air-conditioned tents. You only come out to wash your hands, to grab some food or use the bathroom. Otherwise, you're in an air-conditioned tent. You get an air-conditioned bus or you take the train. You go straight to Arafat, and a lot of the elite tents, they have air conditioners. So you'll be in that tent for the whole day. In the night, you're in Muzdalifah, and the next morning, you're in Mina again. And then except if you're doing tawaf on the same day, you're going in the daytime, and you're going in that heat, and you're making tawaf with everyone in the mataf, then that's where you get the heat, you get the sun a lot. Anyway, so it's good to have an umbrella just to be safe. What are the other things? In carrying your baggage, backpack, anything that you're carrying. So anything that you carry is fine. Okay, sunglasses, sandals, right? So there you go. This is still a little low, but if you can get the one that part is a little higher, the higher the better, because sometimes it covers that bone partially. So, um, yeah. Ring watch, we already mentioned that. Wearing, okay. Anything that glasses, hearing aid, okay. Okay, we already mentioned that. Ihram. So for the men, it's best to have two ihram, one that you're going to wear and one as a spare. Sometimes using the bathroom, there's no place to hang your ihram, so normally you put your ihram on a door, and sometimes it falls and it becomes unclean to wear it for because you're going to pray in that. So you want to have a spare ihram. There's also no harm in taking that and just washing it, rinsing it out 3 times if you need to, and then put it on. It will dry on its own. You can do with one ihram, but it's good to have a spare ihram for yourself or someone else that might need to wear it. Okay, crossing the miqat without ihram, you'll have to pay a penalty for that, which is called, normally over there you will hear the word dam, right? D-U-M. Or D-A-M, sometimes they pronounce it that way. So normally the higher violations require dam, which means to sacrifice an animal, or to pay the money for them to sacrifice it on your behalf. And normally those sacrifices are done within the boundaries of the haram. Right? Is this not putting on 2 pieces of cloth and saying, hey, now I'm a haji? There's a lot more to do, right? Okay, 2 rakats before ihram is not the condition. Again, ghusl is not a condition. These are all recommendations to do before entering in a state of ihram. A lot of people, especially if you're coming from Medina, because from Medina you go straight to your hotel, drop your luggage, and you go for Umrah. So you're kind of in that state that you're going for Umrah now. So normally a lot of times people put the ihram and they uncover the right shoulder. The uncovering of the right shoulder is only for tawaf. Only for tawaf. And you will only uncover when you're in a state of ihram. All the other tawafs that you will do after that, you'll be in your regular clothing, and you don't need to do any of the things that you would do for the tawaf of Umrah. Okay, let me quickly demonstrate the actions of your Umrah in very brief, because we're going to run out of time very fast. So, once you get to Mecca, you will first relieve yourself from all of your responsibilities of checking in and putting your luggage in the right place in your room, making sure that everything is secured and you can have a peace of mind of leaving and going and doing your Umrah until you come back, okay? So once you have done that, if you think that you are very tired, right, or you're not feeling well, you want to delay it for a few hours, you want to take a rest, it's totally fine. It's actually good if you really need to take a rest and you're really tired, go to sleep. Take a few hours of rest. Okay? If you're not feeling well, take a break. Do it after a few hours. Do it perhaps if you have the next day. Okay? You don't have to rush. Okay? You want to do everything properly. So, but if you're ready to go, you can go. And you will enter the masjid of Masjid al-Haram from any gate. Normally you will enter from Bab Abdul Aziz or any other door that is closer to your hotel, and you will say the dua just like you enter any masjid, and then you will proceed until you get to a place where you can easily see the Kaaba for the first time, because that It is very special. It is something for you to remember for the rest of your life. The first time that you saw the Kaaba. And it's something very special and very emotional. And very special because it's the place where you want to make dua. The first gaze on the Kaaba. Any dua that you make, your dua will be accepted. Anything that you ask Allah at that moment, your dua is accepted. And this is the place where you look at the Kaaba and you make dua, instead of looking down or looking at your hands. In normal conditions, you will look down, look at your hands. But in this dua, you will look at the Kaaba and keep your gaze on the Kaaba and you make dua. One of the du'as that you can make is that, oh Allah, any dua that I make after this, oh Allah, accept it. If that dua is accepted, then every dua after that will be accepted. Shortcut. Make dua as much as you can. There's a special dua to say, if you find it, if you can find it somewhere. It's a long dua. You can recite that. If you don't have that, you can say any dua, right? Take your time. 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If you are with a group and you want to stick with the group, a lot of times the leaders or the imam, they will make a congregational dua. Dua in a form of a congregation. It's fine. If you want to be on your own and make your own dua, that's the best way to do. Make your own dua. Because a lot of things is on your mind, a lot of things that you want to ask, a lot of things that you want to speak to Allah, you want to speak from your mind, from your heart, so do it yourself. Once you have done that, now keep in mind that once you enter the masjid, it's a huge place. Sometimes you'll be worried, where am I, where I'm going. Just take your time. Make sure you secure your shoes in your bag. Take a small backpack. In the haram, they always allow a small backpack or a purse. It's always allowed. You cannot take a big backpack. A small, where you can fit your shoes, your medications if you need, something to eat, snacks and stuff. It's good to carry some kind of snacks, especially if you have children. Make sure you carry some, because if you're staying there for 3 hours, you'll get hungry. So at least you have something to eat. So they allow that, okay? But make sure you secure your shoes in your bag, in your backpack. Don't put them somewhere that, okay, I'll get them on the way back. You will forget. You will never recognize where I left my shoes. So it's best to just put your shoes in your backpack and then find a place where you can see the Kaaba and stand, and you're not standing in the way. Because if you're standing in the way, people are going to push you, or someone's going to come, Yallah Hajji, they're going to push you. Move on aside. So make sure that you are in a proper place, standing, you're not hurting anyone. After you made your dua, you will proceed to do your tawaf of Umrah. Okay? Now you will look for green lights. There are green lights right parallel to the Hajar Aswad. You will see the light in front, right parallel to the Hajar Aswad. They will be on the first floor, the second floor. You will see multiple lights. So you will get to know where is the Hajar Aswad and where to start my tawaf. Okay? So Hajar Aswad is on one corner. So right on the opposite side, you see the lights. So once you are in between the corner of the Kaaba, you could see the corner. And I'll show you some pictures and different areas, landmarks. On your right, you should have the green light, and on your left, you should have the Kaaba. Okay? It means that you are in the middle, or you are in the front of Hajar Aswad. From there, you will start your tawaf. Now, before tawaf, there are simple 4 things to do. Okay? 4 things to do. Number 1 is that take your ihram, put it under your right armpit, and put it back on your shoulder. Any way that you feel comfortable, because you need to walk a lot now, okay, for the men. So that's number 1, iltiba, okay? Remember the word iltiba. So you will put on your left shoulder, uncover your right arm. Number 2 is to make the intention that, oh Allah, I'm making the intention of tawaf for Umrah. Oh Allah, oh Allah, accept from me and make it easy. You can make any other du'as as well. but you are in a hurry, you're doing these things simultaneously very quickly because you're there, you need to start because people are moving. It's not that you're going to stand there and have your time. No, you will be immediately have to do everything. So that's 2. Number 3 is the takbir. Just like you say Allah Akbar for your prayer, that's the takbir for starting your tawaf. Okay, that's 3. Number 4 is istilam. Istilam, it means that you are standing and you are facing towards the Kaaba, and you raise your hand like because you're not going to be close to the Hajar Aswad. You're very far, right? So, and you just point at the Hajar Aswad as if you're touching it, and then you kiss your hand, and then you start the tawaf. So 4 things simple. For Umrah, for whenever you're in the state of Ihram, ittiba', right? And number 2, intention. Allah making the intention of Umrah, tawaf of Umrah, Allah accept and make it easy. Allahu Akbar, or you can say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. Number 4, istilam. 4 things. The third one is the important one. Because without that you will not start. So that's why you should make sure that you just do that at least. Now, since you are in a state of ihram, you have the 2 pieces of cloth on. You will, for the first, second, and the third round, you will do something that is called the ramal. Ramal is walking like a brave person. You know, like how the heavyweight champions walking like a brave man, like that. It's not running, it's not just dragging, it's walking like this. You don't have to walk fast, but eventually you will be walking fast. If you are with your wife, a couple, you travel together, you're doing a tawaf together, the sister can have her, can hold each other with one arm or your hand, or you can hold on to part of the ihram so you don't lose each other, because there's a lot of hustle going on, a lot of movements, and very easily, because people will be coming from here, coming from there, and for the first time is usually, wow, what's going on? I forgot how much did I do? Is it the second one, the third one? So, but you will get used to it after 1 or 2 times that you do a tawaf. There are apps out there that you can count your tawaf. There are beads that you can actually, it's like a ring and it has 7 beads on them. And for each circle, you just pull one. If you forget, is it 6 or 7? Okay, it's 6. I'll do one more. Count, go for the lower number, okay? Whenever you forget, go for the lower number. If you're kind of like, I think it is 7, but there's a doubt it could be 6, leave that doubt. If you're doubting on something, just leave that doubt. Go with whatever that you think it's the most accurate one. The only place where you go to the lower number that you don't know, whether it's 6 or 7. Okay. Just like in prayer, if you forget, is it 4 or 3? Is it 4 or 3? I can't remember. I have no preference also. I'll go with the 3. Okay? So likewise. Okay. So after three circles, then you will walk like normal. You don't have to do the ramal. So 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. You will start with Hajar Aswad, the green light on your right. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you will end at the green light. So that's 7. So it means you are going to do 8 istilams, because you have done in the beginning, and then after every one you're doing 1, so it's 8. Then you will do a 9th istilam, right, that part, before starting your sa'i. And I will come to that part. Okay? So once you have done 7, your tawaf is done. Okay? A few things to remember. There is no dua throughout the Umrah and throughout the Hajj. that it is wajib, that you have to say. Except for the first time, talbiyah. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. After that, there is no fard or wajib dua that you have to say. Okay? There are some recommended du'as. If you don't know them, you miss out on them, it's okay. Try to memorize them. Try to have it written down. But normally I advise people who are doing tawaf in particular, not to use a book, because what will happen, you're holding a book or you're holding something and you're bumping into someone, you're not looking where you're going. So the best thing is to say any dhikr, hold a dhikr bead in your hand, recite Quranic from your memory, say any adhkar from your memory, anything, okay? But if you feel comfortable, you can hold a book or hold a paper and recite a certain dua, it's fine. It's okay. It's not impermissible. It's fine. Just because you might trip or you may run into someone, because of that, I advise not to hold a proper book. Number 2, during tawaf, you should not talk, eat, or drink. Okay? Just like you are praying, tawaf is the same thing. You do not talk to the person next to you, to other people. You will not eat and drink. If you need to take a break, can you do it? Yes. If you need to take a break, you're tired after 3, after 4, take a break. You're thirsty, stop where you are, go and drink some zamzam, come back and start where you are, where you left off. Simple. Number 3 is do not face the Kaaba and do not turn your back towards the Kaaba during tawaf. During tawaf, you should not. So, and you should not also look at the Kaaba while you're making tawaf. Just focus on your walking and do your adhkar. You can make dua. Just like I mentioned, you can recite Quran, you can do anything. Focus on what you're doing. Do not look all around. You will see these buildings, right? People look at look at the clock tower. You're better off looking at the Kaaba, but also you should not. So you just focus. Don't look all the way up, don't look all the way down that you fall into. Just look normal, right? Towards the person in front of you's feet, where the feet are, okay? So those are the things that you should be considering during the tawaf.
So people can make dua on their own language also?
Yeah. Any language, right? Doesn't stop Allah from listening to your dua. So after you have completed your tawaf, now what do you do right after the tawaf? I mentioned this before. After any tawaf, what is the wajib? What is the 2 rakats wajib of every and any tawaf? So you will pray 2 rakats after this tawaf. Where you pray it is best to pray it close to Maqam Ibrahim, or you could pray it anywhere in the masjid. It could be in the basement of the masjid or on the roof. It could be anywhere. 2 rakats inside the masjid, anywhere you want to. It's okay. Wherever you find a place where you're comfortable, nobody's going to walk in front of you, nobody's going to walk over you. Just make sure you're not in the way. So you pray 2 rakats, and after 2 rakats, you make dua. After the dua, go and drink some zamzam if you can find nearby. Otherwise, when you are heading to make sa'i, on the way there's a lot of places where you can get zamzam. You can get zamzam in the sa'i area as well. It is sunnah to drink as much as you can, okay? But I usually advise people not to drink too much because you have another, sa'i is usually longer than tawaf. It takes more time because all the way from Safa to Marwa, it's, what is it, 0.4 some, 0.43, almost a half a kilometer. It's 0.3 something mile, one way. So it takes a while. And you're going to make dua on each side. So by the time you end, or in between, you're gonna have to go to the bathroom before you finish. So you don't wanna have to go outside because you have to go all the way outside, go to the bathroom and come back. So don't drink too much, but before you're leaving, after you have done everything and now you're going to shave your hair, at that time, try to drink as much as you can. Normally what I do, the last sa'i, the last part that I'm doing in Sa'i, on the way there's a few places where you can get Zamzam. I just drink, and I'm done after that. Then I go shave my. So try to drink some Zamzam right after the tawaf. It's good, it's sunnah. And what is the dua? أسألك علما نافعا رزقا واسعا شفاء من كل داء. Oh Allah, I seek vastness in my knowledge. Oh Allah, increase vastness in my sustenance, rizq, and علما نافعا رزقا واسعا شفاء من كل داء, and cure from all disease. So with every intention that you drink that Zamzam, you will get it. If you drink it that I want to quench my thirst, it will happen. If you're hungry and you drink only Zamzam with the intention that I don't need to eat. There was a guy that I met, he said, I drank Zamzam for 17 days. Only Zamzam. Only Zamzam for 17 days. I'm not saying to try it out, but yes. The first, in the beginning, you do one, and then after every circle, you do one. So there are 7. So after 7, you're doing 7, and 1 in the beginning.
One at the beginning, at the beginning of the first one.
Beginning of the first one, and then at the end of every circle. So there are 7 circles.
After the 7, we do this.
Yeah, even after this, after you complete the 7th, you do the istilam.
And what you mean by Islam? Allahu Akbar?
Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, wa lillahi alhamd. In case.
Can we do every hour? Salam?
Yeah, every time you pass by the Hajar Aswad, you do istilam. And that's in every tawaf that you do. Any tawaf that you do after that, you do the same thing. So now you're heading to doing your sa'i. Now sa'i and tawaf, these 2 things you'll be doing for Hajj as well. So we won't spend too much time in Hajj. So once you heading to Safa, you get there, you have done an istilam before you leave the mataf. Again, it's not necessary. If you can, you do it. If you cannot, it's fine. Once you get to Safa, over there you will stand and you will face towards the Kaaba. There are a lot of constructions going around. Sometimes they have this board, you cannot see anything. A lot of times you can see the Kaaba from Safa, from Marwa as well. But now there's a lot of changes. Every time you go, there's a new thing. But if you see the Kaaba, fine. If you don't see the Kaaba, you face towards the Kaaba and you raise your hand and make dua at Safa. And you will start with the dua, أبدأ بما بدأ الله تعالى بذكري إن الصفا والمروة من شعائر الله. And you start. You start with dua, and you start your sa'i. You will pass the 2 milayn akhdarayn. Now there's a big green light. I'll show you some pictures in the end. You pass that light. Passing that light, you will run for men. The women will walk normally. And once the men, if you are with your wife or whoever's with you, you will go up, run, and wait for them to catch up, so you don't lose each other. Okay, and you will head to Marwa. You will get there. You make a dua. There's some du'as that is recommended to say. You can say those du'as, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, Allahumma lakal hamdu wa lakal shukr. And what is the dua? أنجز وعده ونصر عبده وهزم الأحزاب وعده. The whole dua. If you remember that dua, if you have written down, if you know it, say it. Otherwise, you can make any dua. You stand over there again, and you make dua facing towards the Kaaba. So that's 1. And then from Marwa, you're heading back to Safa where you started. That's 2. Okay? Again, you will stop for a little bit, face towards the Kaaba, make dua, and then you'll head down back to Marwa, and then from Marwa back to Safa. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Start at Safa, end at Marwa. At Marwa, you will end. Once you have finished, it is recommended to pray 2 more rak'ats if you have the chance. You will see people at Marwa, at the right side, a lot of people are praying. So you could pray for shukran lillah, 2 rak'ats of shukr. That, oh Allah, you accepted and you made it easy and I was able to make umrah. Alhamdulillah. Your umrah is complete Now to come out of the state of ihram, the fourth thing is what? To shave or trim the hair. Your ihram of umrah or your whole umrah is complete. Okay? Okay, let's quickly look at some of the pictures. So here we go. This is how it looked like a few months ago. Maybe there's a little bit of change. I believe there is a big change, yeah. They have already completed the back part of the masjid. That construction all the way in the back that you see, it's already built, it's already completed. You can see the minarets as well. So here we go. That's the Kaaba al-Musharrafa. Safa, that's where you're going to start. That's Marwa, where we're going to end. And that's Bab Malik Abdul Aziz, is right opposite of the clock tower door, main gate. So if you're exiting the clock tower, the door that you will enter is Bab Abdul Aziz. It's good to know some of these landmarks because when you're there, okay, where am I, where I'm supposed to go, so you can see it easily. You will get familiar in no time. So that's Bab Abdul Aziz. That's one of the gates. So there are Bab Abdul Aziz, Bab Fahad, Bab Fahad, Bab Umrah, and Bab al-Fath. So there are 4 main gates. Now it's construction there. It doesn't look like a gate, but those are the main 4 doors. There you go. So that's Fahad gate. That's where you will see the 2 minarets together. It used to be 2 minarets on each of those gates because now it's under construction. So you will see the 2 minarets only at gate Fahad. Then you have Bab Umrah. That goes into the new construction. And then you have the gate of Bab al-Fath. Bab al-Fath is right next to what you call Marwa, on the Marwa side. I don't know if the gates now, if they already built it or not. I don't know. Actually, last time I went for Umrah, I didn't even go to that area. We had such a short time. So these are the 4 main gates. Now you see these signs within the mataf. So when you're doing tawaf, when you finish tawaf, if you want to go home, you want to go back to your hotel, you just look for the signs. They're colored also. They're yellow, green, blue. So they differentiate with the colors. You can tell, okay, I need to exit which door. If you're always going to exit Bab Abdul Aziz, you could see the sign and you go there to exit. Otherwise, if you go the wrong way, once you exit, then it's a long route to go all the way around. So within the mataf, it's easy to figure out where I'm going to exit whenever you come to the haram and whenever you want to leave. Okay, so that's the Safa gate. There's a gate that you can enter to Safa. Sometimes they close it. Everything changes in hours sometimes. The Abdullah gate, that's the new gate, the building. The birthplace of the Prophet ﷺ, these are one of the only places that remains. It's close to the palace. Right next to that, that's the palace, the king's palace. We will show the aerial view. That's the birthplace of the Prophet ﷺ that is right outside of Safa and Marwa, the Sa'i area. So on the other side, you could see the bathrooms, and on this side, you will see the birthplace. It's a library right now. So that's the new expansion. Okay, and okay, there you go. The clock tower, right? Yeah. That's the palace. Yeah. The clock tower. These are all the different hotels. Normally, people stay at one of these 3. So either it's Tawheed or it's Hilton. They call it the Makkah Tower or the clock tower. These are the major 3 hotels where normally people that I know will go there. Because mashallah, the American people, mashallah, they have to have the best places. Anyway, so there you go, another view. Yeah, that's the whole new part, the new expansion. So that's part 1, and then the others, and down there's the other new part. It's very spacious, the newer part. But if you are in the clock tower, it's very hard to get to the newer construction. It's very spacious and beautiful, nice, but it would take a long time. You have to go all the way around to get there from outside. It'll be the same even if you go inside. Anyway, so again, I don't know why they're bringing this again. Okay, so it's 0.23 miles. There you go. Okay. Oh, you can make tawaf on the roof for your final tawaf. You could do it on the roof. That's how it mostly looks like. MashaAllah. زادها الله شرفا وتعظيما وتكريما ومهابة. That's one of the du'as to say when you see the Kaaba for the first time. From, as I mentioned, after your 2 rak'ats, you move back and the mas'a is right behind you where you're going to Safa. Right, so you will head right to, and there are big signs, you can see it going. If you are with the group, doing tawaf and sa'i with the group, then inshallah, you'll be in good hands. If you want to do it on your own, it's best, provided that you can make your way back. MashaAllah, that's Maqam Ibrahim. On that side, that's the Hatim, that's part of the Kaaba. If you can get in there, MashaAllah, try to, but don't force yourself. If you have to, struggle, you have to push people, just don't do it. Anywhere where there's a lot of rush, too many people, just avoid that place. It's not a good sign. Although it's part of the Kaaba, you're as if you're praying inside the Kaaba, if you're praying the Hijr, but provided that is easy to get in. Usually it's very, very hard, very difficult. Hajj season, you'll be lucky. Sometimes you just go there and you find a place and you're there. MashaAllah. If you are true in your intention, Allah will make it easy. Make the dua, Allah accept and make it easy. Enter the haram, I want to be in the hatim. Will Allah accept and make it easy, you will get it. Inshallah. Try your best. Don't say, oh no, it's too hard. No, I don't want to. Try. If you can, mashallah. If you can't, Allah will accept your intention. So these are the 4 corners of the Kaaba. The Hajar Aswad side, and there's the Rukn Yamani comes right before Hajar Aswad. So you will see Yamani, right? That's Yamani, and that's the black stone corner. And then you have the Iraqi and Shami, 2 corners. Okay, I think that's good enough. Okay, so I think we will exit this part. Let's go and quickly go over Hajj. So we didn't even reach Hajj. SubhanAllah. Let me quickly just go through Hajj, very simple and easy, very brief. Hajj, it is fard upon every Muslim men and women, at least one in your lifetime. And there are 3 things that are the rukun of Hajj that you have to, if you miss out on any one of them, no Hajj. And then there are 7 other wajibat, important parts of Hajj that you have to complete. So let's quickly go through it. I have no connection. Okay. So it starts from the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. If you want to add the 6th day, it's okay. But normally Hajj is what? 5 days. The 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. So let's take the 8th first. On the 8th, it is not wajib, but it's sunnah to spend approximately 1 day and night in Mina praying 5 salat. So on the 8th, you will put on your ihram just like you did for Umrah. Get yourself ready, trim, clip, whatever you need to do, take a shower, put on your ihram, say the talbiyah. Now for the talbiyah of Hajj, since you're already in the haram, you don't need to go anywhere, you can do it from where you are. Whether it's the hotel, whether it's the haram, the masjid, you can do it from anywhere where you are within the haram boundary, in that red line, okay? You'll put on your ihram, go to Mina on the 8th. So you will pray Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, and the Fajr of the 9th. So that's 5 prayers. for any reason, you're not able to make dhuhr, or you're not able to make the fajr of the ninth, it's okay. If you have spent most of the time in Mina, you have completed the sunnah of Hajj. If you were not able to go to Mina for any reason, right? You headed straight to Arafat, it's also okay, and it's fine, your Hajj is complete. But you're only missing out a sunnah. Here, sunnah by definition of the jurists, not the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, that's definitely, but here in terms of how important, okay, it's sunnah. On the ninth, after praying Fajr, normally people start to leave around Ishraq time, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Depending on your group. Normally, it's not up to an individual to decide when to leave. Normally, it's the government issues timing for each group, for each camp, and certain they have everything, put in an order. So sometimes they will say you have to leave 3 o'clock in the morning, especially the ones who are taking a train, because their timetables are very restricted. They have to be really precise because they have X amount of people that can fit on a train. They cannot say everybody go at 3 o'clock and it's overwhelming. So they have to time every camp and every group. So they will give you a specific time. You have to leave at 3:30. You have to be ready. So what you will do? Pray Fajr in Arafat, or pray Fajr on a train. Wherever your group leader says to pray Fajr, you pray your Fajr. You will head to Arafat. Now Arafat time starts from Dhuhr time. Arafat, the ninth day, Arafat starts, the timing for Arafat starts at what? Dhuhr time. Meaning once Zawal, Dhuhr entered, Arafat time started. The fard of Hajj is to be in Arafat even for a second. If someone stepped into Arafat after Zawal and came right out, his Hajj is complete. But, and that's the second rukun of Hajj, but to stay until Maghrib is wajib. So if someone leaves before sunset of the ninth, you'll have to do a dam, right? Qurbani. So from the ninth of Zawal, you will be in Arafat, and you will remain there until Asr. Until Maghrib. Now you will pray Dhuhr and Asr in the Dhuhr time. Even according to the Hanafi view of the Tarafain. There are some conditions in the Hanafi madhab that applies to those who are praying Salat combinedly. Dhuhr and Asr at Dhuhr time. Some of the Hanafi jurists say that no, they have to pray it in their time because certain conditions have to apply. Anyway, normally they will pray Dhuhr and Asr in Dhuhr time, in the earliest time. There will be a khutbah, there will be the Salat, and you will now spend the time. That's the most important time throughout your journey. That's the most important time. Al-Hajj Arafah, the Prophet ﷺ said that Hajj is Arafah. That's the main part. So you will spend from Dhuhr until Maghrib in what? In dua. You finished your obligations of prayer. You prayed your Dhuhr and your Asr. So you have the whole time to make dua all the way until Maghrib. You will not even pray Maghrib at sunset. You will pray Maghrib where? In Muzdalifah. In Isha time. Okay? So you have the whole time, and Allah made it easy for us to make a lot of dua because that's the time when you make dua. Now, I'm not saying that you have to spend each and every second in making dua. You can make dua, you can read Quran, you can do dhikr. The best thing is to make dua. Make dua for 15 minutes, for half hour. Join a group if you can, if you want to. If you want to take a nap, you want to rest, you want to sleep, by all means. The only thing that you don't want to do is waste time. You don't want to start talking and wasting time. If you need to eat, you can eat, drink, whatever you want to do. Just don't waste time in talking. Talking over there is something that you want to avoid. So spend your time in dua, in dhikr, in making dua for yourself, for the entire ummah, for the acceptance of your own Hajj, for all the Hujjaj, for all the people, for the entire, the whole world, for everyone, for every person. And By the time of Maghrib, the leader will say, okay, we're going to wait. Because again, even to leave Arafat, there's timings. Sometimes they will say, you have to leave before sunset. You will not actually leave Arafat boundary. You will leave your camp of Arafat, right? You will walk to the train station. Or you will walk to where your bus is. That could take an hour, it could take 2 hours. It could take even more. So by sunset, you will still be in Arafat. And they will not allow you to leave Arafat before sunset. The trains will not pick you before sunset. There's no way you can leave Arafat before sunset. So regardless of whatever the timing is that for you to leave, you will leave and you go to Muzdalifah. Now Muzdalifah, you just need to go and rest and sleep. And spare some time for doing ibadah. Just a side note to note, when you get to Muzdalifah, the best time to use the bathrooms over there is around midnight or before midnight. Or the time that you get there, the first thing you want to use the bathroom and relieve yourself. Because the worst time is before Fajr. Long lines. There are nice bathrooms now. Beautiful, wonderful, nice, newly built. So over there, you will be on the ground. You'll be looking at stars. It's a beautiful, wonderful. It's very hot, crappy. Because instead of giving you, in Mina, you have this big bed. Just enough for you to turn. But when you get to Muzdalifah, it's just for you to fit in. They're very tight. Because it's a smaller place, the same amount of people that are in Mina. So it's half of the size of Mina. So they need to fit everyone in there. And people have to be in the boundaries of Muzdalifah. It's a small place. Arafat has its boundary. Mina has its boundary. So 3 of these places have their boundaries where you have to be in. So Muzdalifah, it's wajib to be there, to spend some time. According to the Shafi'iyah, is to spend at least until midnight. And according to the Hanafiya, is to be there until Fajr. Pray Fajr and do a short wuquf. Now sometimes they will make you leave regardless, because your timing for your train is now. You have to leave before Fajr. So they will go and pray Fajr at the train station. You're still in Muzdalifah. Right after the Salat, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever time you have to make dua, and your wajib is complete. From there you will head to Mina, and on that day, the 10th, you'll be doing all the major activities, the most of the activities that you will do. So for the most part, you will do 4. Sometimes you will delay the 4th one. So basically, you're doing 3 things. Number 1 is to pebble the Jamarah. The last one, it's called normally people call it the big shaitan. So that's the big one where Ibrahim alayhi salam threw stones at the shaitan, at the devil. So you pebble only 1. In Muzdalifah, during your night, one of the things that you will do is collect pebbles. 70 is, to be on the safe side, 70 is best, because you'll be 21. If you're doing the 13th, another 21. How much is that? 63. And 7 pebbles for the 10th. So it's good to collect 70. Just to be on the safe side, collect 70. Not too big, not too small, the size of the chickpea. So on the 10th, the first thing you will do is do the rami. The second thing, you will do the qurbani, which you will not do on by yourself. You'll have someone do it on your behalf. So that will be taken care of. Number 3, but make sure that that's taken care of. You've already paid with your package, or you're paying someone there to do it for you. Depends on your package. Every package is different. Sometimes over there in Makkah you pay for the qurbani. But make sure that that's taken care of, because that's also wajib. Number 3, you will shave, or again, trim. Okay? 3 things you will do. The 4th, you have the choice of either doing it the first day, you could delay it to the 2nd day, and if needed, delay it to the 3rd day. So you have 3 days to do your 4th activity, which is one of the rukun of Hajj, is to do tawaf. A lot of people, what they do after the three things, they head straight to Mecca, do their tawaf, and now they're completed their Hajj. They're out of the state of Ihram. If you are with family, I usually advise families, and families especially with children, elderly people, is to delay it till the next day. Or at least delay it till midnight. It's cooler, it's easier, not too much traffic, easy to get there. If you could delay it to the next day night, it's a breeze. You go there, you do your tawaf, do your sa'i, and you're done. So this is the second sa'i that you will do. One is the sa'i for your umrah, and this is the second sa'i that you will do for your hajj. So the fourth thing that you will do is your tawaf, and after that tawaf you do sa'i. Okay? Hajj is, your ihram comes off after the three things. After that, you can wear your clothing and you go to, a lot of people, what they do, because they're doing it all together, they will still stay in their ihram, and they will go do the tawaf and do everything and finish and come back and then take a shower. But if you're delaying it, which is best, is that after you finish the three things, after you trim your hair, take a shower, put on regular clothes, but you're not fully out of the state of ihram. Until you do your tawaf, you're still in a state of ihram, which is called the greater state of ihram. Once you have done your tawaf and sa'i, now you're out of state of ihram. You can be with your wife, with your spouse. The third, now there's 11 and 12. On these 2 days in Mina, you will only do one thing that is wajib, is to throw the 3 places, stones at the 3 places, the 3 jamarat. 7, 7, 7 each day, so 21. And then the next day 21, which is the 12. Now, normally, they give you an option to leave after you have thrown the pebbles on the 12th, right, of the Hijjah, the 3rd day in Mina, the 12th of the Hijjah. They give you an option. Either you leave after that, you go back to Makkah, go back to your hotel, and you're done. Or you stay, you spend another night, the 12th night, which is your 3rd night after Arafat. And then the next day you do the Jamarat again, 777 on the 13th. And then you leave. So you have both options. The only thing is that if you stayed the night of the 12th, which is the following night of the 13th, where you have the option whether to leave or not. If you have stayed until Fajr, then it becomes wajib for you to throw the pebbles after Ishraq, anytime after Ishraq. But if you leave midnight or in the afternoon of the 12th, you're good. You don't have to come back and do anything. But if you stayed for the night until Fajr, then you will have to do the Jamarat on the 13th. Once you have done that, you're done and your Hajj is complete. You will stay in Makkah as long as you are going to stay. There's only one thing that you will do before leaving, is to do the final tawaf, and that's also wajib. That's also wajib. You have to do that. Now, there's a lot of circumstances. You know, maybe you may not be able to do a tawaf before you leave. So whenever you want to do it, you can do it. You can even do it right after you've completed your Hajj. It's permissible. Your wajib is complete. But it is not recommended to do that unless if there's a need. Okay? It's best to make that your last action at the haram, to do your tawaf al-wada'. Now in between, anytime you're in the haram, the best thing, even more, it's better than even praying 2 rak'ats or 4 rak'ats, is to do tawaf. Because the 2 and 4 and whatever rak'ats that you're going to pray, the nafli salawat, those you can do it anywhere in the world. Tawaf cannot be done anywhere. It only can be done there. Therefore, the best thing after any fard action, after your fard salah, right? The best action to do over there is tawaf. So do as many as you can. do 2, 3, 4, 5 in a day. Do as much as you can, right? If you cannot do it in the mataf, do it in the masjid. You can do it on the roof. It's just that it takes longer. It takes an hour, 15 minutes, 45 minutes in the mataf. If there's less rush, maybe a half hour. But try to do as much as tawaf you can. Make dua for everyone. We are still missing the trip to Medina Munawwara. It's something that the Prophet ﷺ said that whoever came for Hajj, visit the Holy Lands and didn't come to see me, he has ignored me. فَقَدْ جَفَانِي. So with that intention, you should go to visit the Prophet ﷺ, to visit his mosque, to visit those great Sahaba who are buried there, the family of the Prophet ﷺ, his wives, his children who are buried in Al-Baqi. Al-Baqi has 10,000 Sahaba, 10,000 companions buried right there. There's Uhud, there's Masjid al-Quba, there's many places to visit. Go with utmost respect and love for the Prophet ﷺ. Say salams to the Prophet ﷺ as much as you can. Whenever you go to the Rawda, whenever you go to the Muwajaha, some people say, no, you just have to go and do it once in your trip. No. Every time you go to the masjid, if it's possible, you go and give salam to the Prophet ﷺ, right? Because the Prophet ﷺ said that whoever says salams to me comes to my grave and he says salams to me, I reply to his salam. A lot of the scholars say that anywhere in the masjid you can say salams to the Prophet ﷺ. Anywhere in the masjid. Especially for women, you cannot go to the muwajah in front. So you will be giving salams from the back. But you can do it anywhere in the masjid. So every time you enter the masjid, say salams to the Prophet ﷺ. Say, send your salawat upon him, make dua, ask for shafa'ah, right? And be grateful to the Prophet ﷺ. And it's recommended to say, Jazallahu anna, oh Allah, may Allah reward you for all the effort that you have given us, this beautiful religion. You have taught us everything that you taught us. To be thankful, grateful to the Prophet ﷺ, and to try to make the intention of following the sunnahs of the Prophet ﷺ. This is one of the greatest lessons that you can take from Medina, that I want to implement some of these sunnahs of our Prophet ﷺ in my life before I leave. And I want to continue on these lessons until the end of my life. Ask Allah subhanahu